Hello everyone, myself Ketan Bhavsar, Assistant Professor in LJ Engineering College, Ahmedabad. Uh, you all know we successfully completed the unit number 1, Introduction of VLSI Technology. So now we start with unit number 2, CMOS Fabrication Technology and Design Rules. So today's topic, CMOS Fabrication Technology. So before starting this unit, I want to tell you that first of all, the question arises in our mind that how IC is generally fabricated, and whatever the chip is available in the market, it start from 10 rupees to up to the thousands of rupees. Then how actually that particular transistors are mounted on the surface, how IC is actually fabricated, and I want to tell you that you can search on the Google also, there is no specific fabrication plant live video is available in all over the world. The reason is very clear, because of the privacy issue. So now we start with the CMOS fabrication technology, that how actually your integrated chip will be fabricated. So now we start with the fabrication technology. So CMOS, as you know, the CMOS stand for the complementary metal oxide semiconductor. So it requires the combination of NMOS and PMOS. NMOS is generally working on active high logic and PMOS is generally working on active low logic. And with help of the combination of P and N, then we design a specific substrate and chip. To accommodate both NMOS and PMOS device, a special region must be created in which the semiconductor type is opposite to the substrate type. Definitely, see, if you design the NMOS, then you have to take a substrate of PMOS. If you design a PMOS, then you have to take a substrate of NMOS, because whenever you make a combinations or whenever you make any semiconductor device, then we always have a pair of PN junction. The region is called its well or tube. So it's basically it's called as a well or tube where your IC is generally fabricated, where your specific NMOS and PMOS is fabricated. A P well is created in a N-type substrate. As I already told you, suppose I want to design a P well, so you have to take opposite substrate, it's an N-type, or alternative, if you design the N well, then you have to take a substrate of P-type. In the simple N-well CMOS fabrication technology is presented, the NMOS transistor is created in P-type substrate and the PMOS transistor is created in N-well, which is built into a P-type substrate. So based on your requirement and which type of transistor you have to design, that you have to choose a type of substrate. In the twin tube CMOS technology, the additional tubes of the same type as the substrate can also be created for device optimization. So it is generally used to make optimization when you try to design a multiple number of chips or when you work on multiple number of MOSFET at a time. So optimization is a main role. So the fabrication of the N-well CMOS, so we have one flow chart then how N-well fabrication or CMOS technology is initially start. The process is start with take a N-well region for the PMOS transistor by impurity implant into the substrate. So definitely as you know, there are the different types of impurities like tetravalent impurity, tetravalent impurity. So we have a different types of impurity, so that we have to add to create a specific substrate or region. Then a thin oxide is grown in the region surrounded the NMOS and PMOS alternative region. After taking the substrate, you have to add a thin layer of oxide which provide a safety, or we can say that it provide the protection to the surface. Yes. Now, how thin oxide layer is implemented on the substrate? So with help of the thermal oxidation process, that you have to apply the thin layer of oxide on all over the surface. These steps are followed by the creation of N plus and P plus region. As you already know, whenever we try to design a specific MOSFET, CMOS, then CMOS is a combination of PMOS and NMOS. So whenever you're talking about the FET, means field effect transistor, then we have a 3-terminal source, drain and gate terminal. So we are considered gate as an input terminal, source is always connected to the supply, and drain is connected to the ground terminal when we're talking about the PMOS. And same way you can see the opposite operation when we're talking about a NMOS. And after that we create a finally metallization connection, that how actually your IC is look like, or how your specific one MOSFET is designed. So as you can see, just an overview. See, this one is not a complete flow of NMOS or NWEL fabrication. It's just an overview that how you start a designing of any fabrication technology. Create an NWEL region and channel stop region. After that, again you have to implement a thin oxide. Then you have to add a polysilicon layer to provide the connectivity. Then you have to implant a drain, source and gate region, and then put a contact cards and metallic connection. Metallic connection, that you can see you use already DIP ICs. You already use a 7-4 series ICs. So you can see the legs outside the chip which provide the connectivity, or which we can say that it's a pin number, like VCC pin, ground pin, input pin, output pin. So it can be possible with help of a windowing method and metallic layer only. So this one is just a overview of how fabrication technology will start and how it will be end with the metallic connection. Now we have to start with a basic steps, means now we start a fabrication of particular MOSFET with a basic step. The integrated circuit may be viewed as a set of patterned layer of doped silicon, polysilicon, metal, insulating silicon dioxide, and etc. So definitely whenever you try to design an integrated circuit, so it can be a design with help of the doping of silicon, polysilicon for provide the connectivity, metallic connections, and as well as a silicon dioxide. In general, a layer must be patterned before the next layer of material is applied on the chip. So we have to take one layer, and after that we have to apply the patterning on the layer, and then we have to apply the next layer. The process used to transmit a pattern to a layer on the chip, it's called a lithography process. So whatever the step you are applying, suppose you are taking one substrate, after that you applied a thin oxide, after that you apply the polysilicon. So the process to apply one layer, and after that you have to apply the again second layer. So this process is called as a lithography process. And this question is very important in the exam point of view, because it's asked on number of times that how lithography process work and what is lithography process. So we have started with a basic flow, that as you can see it's a silicon substrate or Si substrate. Second, as you know, we have to apply the oxide layer, means SiO2 layer, with help of the thermal oxidation process. As you can see, the thermal oxidation of the silicon surface, by which the oxide layer about 1 micrometer thickness is created on the substrate. So if you're taking the Si substrate, then 1 micrometer thickness oxide will be created on the surface. It's the SiO2 layer. After that we have to apply the photoresist material to provide the conductivity between a substrate to a next layer. The entire oxide surface is then covered with a layer of photoresist, which is essentially a light sensitive acid resistant organic polymer, initially isolate in the developing solution. So it is designed with help of the number of chemical processes, and it provides a conductivity between layers to the input terminals, or we can say that to the substrate. And you can see after that we are applying UV lights. So for applying the UV lights, we have to take a one particular mask, as you can see, and then we have to take a specific window, and then again we have to apply the UV lights on this particular area. So after applying the UV lights on this particular area, you can see this particular area will be absorbed by the UV lights, and you can see the window is created on the middle region of the substrate. If the resist material is exposed to UV lights, the exposed area becomes soluble so that they are no longer resist to etching solvents. Etching means to extracting process. To selectively expose the photoresist, we have to cover some of the area on the surface with a mask during expose. Thus, when the surface with the mask on top is exposed by the UV lights, the area is covered by the opaque features on the mask are shielded. That, as you can see. So, the type of photoresist, the question is arising in our mind: what is photoresist, types of photoresist, why photoresist is used. So as I already told you, the photoresist is a main element to provide the conductivity between the substrate to the input terminal. And there are the two types of photoresist material that we have. It's called a positive photoresist material and negative photoresist material. As you can see, the type of photoresist which is essentially isolable and became soluble after expose to UV lights, it's called positive photoresist. There is another type of photoresist which is initially soluble and became isolable after exposed to UV lights. It's called negative photoresist. Now we just go into the depth. Now what is a negative photoresist material? If the negative photoresist is used in the photolithography process, the area which is not shielded from the UV lights by the opaque mask feature became insoluble, whereas the shielded area can subsequently be etched away by a developing solution. So as you can see, the window is created. And negative photoresists are more sensitive to light, but their photolithography resolution is not as high as that is positive photoresistor, and because of that reason we use a positive photoresistor for creating a masking or create the integrated chips. Therefore, negative photoresists are used less commonly in the manufacturing of high density integrated circuits. So as you can see, we use a positive photoresist material. As the reason you can easily identify because of the resolution issues. So as you can see, after applying the UV lights or creating the window, again we apply the photoresist material, and finally now the silicon dioxide region which are not covered by 100 photoresist can be etched away either by using a chemical solvent or by using a dry etching plasma light process. So with help of this plasma light and chemical process, we try to extract the additional photoresist material which is available on the surface, and after that we make a compact and stable Si substrate for designing the NMOS, PMOS, N-well and P-well. So these are the basic steps for designing a fabrication of integrated chip. Fine. So whether you design N-well, P-well, NMOS, PMOS, you have to follow this 7 step initially on each and every fabrication technology, on each and every process. At the end of this step, we obtain an oxide windowing that reaches down to the silicon surfaces, as you can see in this diagram. Fine. So in exam, if the question is that write down a basic fabrication steps, then you have to write down these 7 steps. And if someone asks you for the NMOS fabrication, PMOS fabrication, then again we have some more 7 to 8 steps for the fabrication technology. The remaining photoresist can now be stripped from the silicon dioxide surface by using another solvent, leaving the pattern silicon dioxide feature on the surface. Now there are the different types of fabrications, or we can say that we have to design the different types of fabrication for the NMOS fabrication, PMOS fabrication, and NWEL fabrication. So in next session we definitely learn the different types of fabrication technology like NMOS, PMOS, NWEL, and PWEL. And after that we just go with design based rules, because design based rule is play a main role. As you can see, in the small 10 IC contain the thousands of gates. So how is it possible? So it is possible with help of the design rule technology, and with help of that technology we can fabricate a number of chips, and it can be used for the further fast and real-time applications. So basically we have this concept in this particular topic, that how fabrication technology is actually work. So I hope you like this session, and if you have any doubt then you can contact me. So thank you very much.